What up, boys? Hope everybody's doing well. Back in the R66 today. Looked through the instruction manual, which it's rare for me, and I noticed that one of the things that it said was to have the experimental flight model turned on, and I don't think that I did the last time we flew. So to see if that has any difference or has made any difference with that thing on. And also, you'll probably notice there's no floats on the skids. You can turn those on and off apparently by sitting in the cockpit with the door open. If you click on the skids, there. You can only do it from the inside. Also, the livery out here from a Nerds Umbrella Corporation. They did, whoever made it, I guess, forgot to change the logo on this side. So it still says OD Global Heli Tour, but now it's Umbrella Corporation. No tail number. It looks kind of ominous, black and red. Pretty cool if you're a fan of Resident Evil. We are in Anguilla, which is just north of Grand Case and St. Martin. So we are going to fly over there. Probably go hit up St. Bart's and then maybe over to Saba. Helipads and all those places. Give me some practice landing and see if it feels any different than it did the other day without the experimental flight model on. Let's close this thing. Also, I asked somebody, or I mentioned this in the last stream on YouTube. I didn't know where the livery came from. The Charlie Golf Echo Alpha Kilo, and it was from Misha Grebs. He's like Pilot Yellow on YouTube, and he had a global heli tour that he did with a couple other guys, flying the R66 around the world. It's on YouTube. It's pretty cool. I'm about halfway through it, enjoying it, and I've learned a little bit about flying a helicopter, which is good. I'm going to use the checklist today to make sure we got everything going on. Before starting, fuel shutoff valve, we're going to leave that on, or in the position where it's at, off currently. Collective is down. Cyclic is neutral, and the friction lock is, we'll leave that off as well because we're going to need that in just a second. Rotor brake is off. As you can see, the rotor is freewheeling at the moment. Circuit breakers are modeled, which is cool. I didn't know this. Make sure that they're all in. That's pretty cool. I like it when airplanes have that kind of stuff. So I guess they kind of advertise this as a study level, or at least more in-depth model, which is neat. Landing light is off. Cabin heat and anti-ice off, and anti-ice down here is off. Avionics generator switches are all off, and we'll set the altimeter once we get the engine started. I want to make sure we get the actual ATIS here, not peeking at the map. Startup batteries on. Strobes. Go ahead and turn off it starts with the panel lights on, which I'm not a huge fan of. Wouldn't really do that. Battery igniter, turn that on. You can see the rotor brake light is off. Area is clear. Fuel cutoff valve is pulled off already, and the throttle is closed. You're going to start button, wait for about 15%. When it gets to this area, it'll make a beep, and then we'll introduce fuel. N1 is coming up. There's the fuel. Watching the MGT. Button, go to start button, and there we go. Annunciator lights are off except for generator. Successful at ignition. N1 stable at 65%. So 70% for the V Skylab's R66. I guess they took this from just the general checklist. So we're roughly stable at 70%. Go ahead and install the fuel guard, get our generator on, turn the avionics on. And I think it's 1 minute idle to warm up. See, annunciator panel test. Oh, she works. Doors closed and locked. Friction's off. Hydraulic switch is checked on. That's down here on the cyclic. Lift collective slightly. There's a low RPM warning, which is good. And we'll warm up 1 minute. And then throttle slowly to full. I think that I saw somewhere that you're supposed to bring it up to the RPMs to about 85 and then let it warm up there before you actually keep rolling it up to engage the governor. I don't know. go ahead and dismiss this, and we will get our ATIS.
Tango, Quebec, Papa, Foxtrot, airport information, Delta 1634, Zulu, weather, wind 104, at 9, visibility 10,000, sky condition 1,800, scattered, temperature 23, 2.18, altimeter 3003, advise on initial contact, you have information, Delta.
Listen to the winds one more time.
Tango, Quebec, Papa, Foxtrot, airport information, Delta 1634, Zulu, weather, wind 104, at 9, visibility 10,000.
104 at 9, not too bad. And Princess Juliana, TQPF Tower, approach 12895.
Good afternoon, Rouge 1863 Heavy or Quebec from the Eric.
Rouge 1863 Heavy, Tower Cox, Airborne 787, copy 2 final, wind calm, clear to land, runway 24 left.
Clear land, 24 left, Rouge 1863.
We're also not going to use the stability augmentation system. I want to see what it feels like now without, with the experimental flight model on. So I'd say it would probably been an idle for more than a minute, so we're going to start rolling the throttle up, see if I can get the RPMs up to 85 without the governor kicking on. When the governor grabs it, it just goes, the torque goes all the way up to 100. I'm not sure if that's like it's supposed to do that, or it seems like that would be bad for the helicopter.
Rouge 583, you ready? Ready to go, I said 583. Rouge 583.
Give a look at here. Here's Engia. Here's Princess Juliana. We'll fly over to, this is Grand Case. We'll hit all these. We'll just go through this whole area. And then down to St. Bart's, and then Saba is this little guy down here.
Rouge 583, you ready? Ready to go, I said 583. Rouge 583, contact departure, born surf takeoff, runway 24 left.
Alright, keep bringing the throttle up.
Clear for takeoff, 24 left, west at 583.
See, I think the governor might have already gauged now. Let's see if it gets up to 100%. If it did, then we did it right. The torque didn't spike it over 100%. There we go. There it is. So a little dip on the torque was the governor kicking in. So now I should be able to roll the throttle on completely. And I can. Didn't break anything.
Envoy 3194, contact departure 1288.
Let's go.
12880, Envoy 3194.
So we're basically just going to fly straight out here. Grand Case is closest to us, and then we'll make our way over to Princess Juliana.
Tower Wisconsin 37, 55, 24 right.
Wisconsin 37, 55, clear to land 24 right.
Clear to land 24 right, Wisconsin 37, 55.
Hover test. And we'll work our way to the runway.
Tower Wisconsin 37, 55, 24 right.
Wisconsin 37, 55, clear to land 24 right.
So as you start moving
Clear to land
forward,
24 right.
you get, what's it called, effective transitional lift. The angle of attack from the moving air over the rotors becomes a little bit more favorable. So you can see the engine torque dropped as we started doing that, moving forward. So now I can bring the collective up even more. We'll pick up some speed and start climbing. We'll start our turn over to Grand Case. See ya.
Wisconsin City 755.
Also,
to the Bravo
you've
2,
seen on
cross
the external
runway 2.
model, you can see a passenger in the helicopter now. All that is controlled through the weight and balance menu, the default menu. So if you increase, I think it's close to 350 or 400 pounds, and it adds an extra passenger in for you.
And we'll contact apron, Wisconsin 375.
See if I can work on the landings a little bit. Last time, man, they were awful. I think my best landings were the auto rotations.
Got 284, contact ground 1219. Got 284, contact ground 1219.
So Grand Case is right there on the other side of that leftmost mountain, I think. In between there. We're going to fly over this cruise ship and then I'll head that way. The island that you can see out there in the distance, that's Saba. That'll probably be our last stop. Go Grand Case, Princess Juliana, St. Bart's, and then fly over there.
Exit Delta 6 and cross runway 24 right. Okay, we can runway at Delta 6, cross runway 24 right, and it's up at the top.
If you can land on these things.
Canada 412, contact departure 1288.
Departure to Canada 412.
Alright, there is Grand Case. I can see the runway right there in the little brown area between these hills. I'm going to do, I can't remember what it's called, like an aggressive stop basically. It's kind of a power on auto rotation. I'm just going to completely drop the collective and we're going to hold the altitude with the cyclic and use that to slow it down. That's kind of like what people, can you imagine how helicopters fly and like that, the tail low stopping? That's what it's going to look like, hopefully, assuming I don't crash.
Tower, hello, AC 4492, visual 24 right. AC 4492, clear wind calm, altimeter 3031, on your exit to Bravo 2, clear to that moment, 4 right. 24 right, clear to landing, 44
See what happens with quick collective changes. I'm not really noticing a difference between with the experimental flight model on and off at the moment, but that might change with a couple landings. Right when we're over the shore there, I'll drop the collective, slow down. I'm assuming the wind here is also favoring 1-2, but don't know. Alright, here we go. Collective coming down, grabbing, pulling back on the cyclic.
Tower, hello,
Right rudder.
4492, visual 24 right.
AC 4492,
Sorry, anti-torque pedal.
3031 on your exit to Bravo 2, clear to that, runway 24 right.
24 right, clear to landing, 44
So the RPMs kind of shoot up if you pull back too quickly. I'm bringing the collective back in. And back over to the left pedal. Park somewhere over here for a second.
And then 7975, contact ground 1219.
1219, connect on 905.
Again, all of this is without the stability augmentation system, so it's pretty, I mean, if I can manage to fly this, it's obviously a pretty reasonable helicopter. Bring it to hover here, and then we'll try to set it down.
And then 7975, contact ground 1219.
Smooth as, boys. Watch a little replay, and we'll get out of here. We'll head over to Princess Juliana. One for one, decent landing so far. We'll see if I screw that up or manage to screw that up somehow.
Cruise 1863, contact ground 1219.
129, Rouge 1863.
Alright, taxi back out to the runway. A little bit of left anti-torque pedal. We'll do a pedal turn to the right.
Cruise 1863, contact ground 1219.
129, Rouge 1863.
Tower Encore 3216, let's switch to flight. Encore 3216 tower, company Q and mile final, wind calm, clear to land, runway 24 left. Good land 24 left, Encore 3216.
I'm honest, I just don't notice much of a difference with the experimental flight model turned on. Or maybe someone from on the forums from VSky Labs might be able to explain why that's supposedly important. Or maybe it just behaves in a particular way in certain conditions, I don't know. Let's sneak back through these hills and then we'll fly over to TNTM.
Lima X-ray, Mike Charlie Echo, Tower, wind calm, clear takeoff, runway 23.
Clear takeoff, runway 23. X-ray, Mike Charlie Echo.
Buzz the tower down here.
Lima X-ray, Mike Charlie Echo, Tower, wind calm, clear takeoff, runway 23.
Clear takeoff, runway 23. X-ray, Mike Charlie Echo.
Tower 4405, cleared rate visual, 24 left.
4405, there, exit ADN, wind 150 at 5, clear to land, runway 24 left.
524 left, 4405. Tower 4405, cleared rate visual, 24 left.
4405, there, exit ADN, wind 150 at 5, clear to land, runway 24 left.
524 left, 4405.
The airport and the runway are on the other side of this lagoon here, you can see. So I'll fly around the outside and I'll fly in over the beach, which is kind of famous.
Procore 3405, exit Delta 2, cross runway 24 right.
Probably not quite as awe-inspiring a sight as like a 747 landing, but, you know.
Procore 3405, exit Delta 2, cross runway 24 right.
April 7529 on Delta, short of Louisville.
April 10529 Tower, good evening. Traffic landing on runway 24 right, holding short of your runway. Contact departure airborne, clear for takeoff, runway 28.
Clear check remarks, and we are clear for takeoff, runway 28, departure near, remain so pledge.
April 7529 on Delta, short of Louisville.
April 10529 Tower, good evening. Traffic landing on runway 24 right, holding short of your runway. Contact departure airborne, clear for takeoff, runway 28.
Clear check remarks, and we are clear for takeoff, runway 28, departure near, remain so pledge.
And the really famous beach at Princess Juliana is right here, probably about 10 o'clock right now. So now where you can see those big hotels.
319 rolls, line up runway 23.
Going after the 319, line up and wait 23, Rouge 1806.
538, turn left now, heading 180, contact departure on 129.
Alright, 180 and contact departure 1288 on course 35, 38, have a good night.
On course 3478, caution, wake turbulence, line up and wait, runway 24 right.
Line up and wait, 24 right on course 3478.
So we get a huge runway here to do the same thing. I'll just wait till we get over the runway to do it. Well, relatively, I think it's like 7,000 or 8,000 feet. Big for us. Very wide.
Roger, has 25, would you coming up on here?
Just 25 turning, wind 310 to 15, gusting 20,
And
for the line, runway
drop
24
the
left.
collective.
24 left, yeah, 200.
Try not to over speed the RPMs.
Air Transat 308, contact departure 128, connect.
188, Air Transat 308, connect. Rouge 1577, hold short, runway 23.
Hold short, 23, just 30 seconds.
Rouge 1577, just for technicality, hold short, runway 23. I just need the call sign in there as well.
Yeah, holding short, 23, Rouge 1577.
Cheers, mate.
Tower low, Rouge 18, 36, on the ILS 24 left. Rouge 18, 36, driving number 2, dash 8 inside 2 final, wind 310, 15, goes 20, clear the land runway 24 left. Clear the land 24 left. Triple 768.
Imagine the disappointment of all these people that showed up at the beach at Princess Juliana just to see an R66 land. Alright, dudes, let's go over to St. Bart's.
Line 424, they're kind of 890. Bridge 1577, wind 310 at 11, gust 18, clear for takeoff, runway 23.
Takeoff 23, reach 1577. Jazz 25, hold short, runway 24 right.
Hold short 24 right.
Cat 890, wind 310, 15, gusting 20, club takeoff, runway 24 right.
Clear takeoff 24 right, Air Canada 890.
April 7688, kind of departure 128.
Over departure, April 7688.
Jazz 972, tail line up and wait, runway 24 right, caution the turbulence on departure, turn left heading 180.
Heading 180, line up 24 right, Jazz 98, correction 972. Bridge 1577, contact departure 1288. Good night.
288, reach 1577, good night. Jazz 25, kind of ground 129.
129.
Cat 890, kind of departure 128, good night.
28.8, Air Canada 890, good night.
Towers Air Canada 186 approaching OMTAC, runway 23.
Canada 186, Emmy Tower, good evening. Wind 320 at 11, gust 16, clear to land, runway 23.
Land 23 Air Canada 186.
There is a view.
Jazz 972, wind 310 to 15, gusting 20.
I'm not like a keen. I guess I'm not keen on the idea of flying helicopters in real life. I'll probably at some point do maybe like a discovery flight or something just to see what it's like, but they kind of scare me. But you can't really argue with flying in something that has a bubble canopy like this. I mean, that's a pretty unparalleled view. There's where we're going. We'll just kind of treat this like a normal approach to runway 10 at St. Bart's.
Line up, runway 24 right.
There's a helipad to the south of the runway, so I'll land on it like I would in an airplane, and then park it there, and then we'll head over to Saba and probably call it a day.
Jazz 962, top down the Embraer, line up, runway 24 right. On departure, turn left heading 180.
Still got PTSD from the last time I was at Saba trying to land there with the Navajo.
Left heading 180, Jazz 9.
A lot of crashes that day.
Jazz 972.
Tower, good day, Area 1677.
Jazz 962, wind 3. 7409, tower line up, runway 248.
Line up 248, turn 7409.
Doing on fuel. I think we started with about a half tank. So we're still over a quarter.
7548, connect departure 1288.
128, Midland 548, connect.
Actually, what I'll do, if I remember, land here and I'm going to fast forward it so we get a little night flight, because I still have not seen the night lighting in the cockpit. See what that looks like. I think last time I flew this, I said that I was going to do that and I totally forgot about it.
Good Air Canada 028 Heavy, talk.
Air Canada 028 Heavy, Tower, call showing Turbulence Company 777 preceded you, wind 310 at 12, continue number 1, traffic to depart.
Number 1, Air Canada 028.
Air Canada 186, exit Hotel 4, join hotel and contact ground 121651 off, thank you.
No, 1165.
Tower Air Canada 796 with you, 1.5 back from Carrick. Tower 796, driving 67 landed ahead, caution turbulence, wind 310 at 15, clear the land runway 24 left. Clear land 24 left, Air Canada 796. Canada 426, clear to take off runway 248.
Clear takeoff 248, Air Canada 426.
Trojan 7409, connect departure 1288.
128, Trojan 7409, see you.
Air 1677, hold short, runway 248.
Short 248.
Good evening, Rouge 1876, taxi on Charlie for Ultra 248.
Rouge 1876, tower line up, runway 248.
Line up and wait, runway 248, Rouge 1876.
So what I normally do in an airplane, because you can't normally see the runway until you're above a certain altitude, if you use this island right here, you point it towards right where this crease is in the hill, that's generally the runway heading. Do the same thing, see how that works out. I'm just going to dump the collective once we get over the hill, and I'll try to slow it down. The little rock outcropping is just to the left of the runway, so I can kind of see the runway peeking up over that hill right there. turned outside the runway.
Cross runway 2 for right.
Cross for right at Rouge 1836.
Clear 1677, cross runway 2 for right.
Back right.
Canada 426, sky departure 1289.
2165 off, good night.
Getting bumpy down here. Alright, start dropping the collective, pulling back on the cyclic. Right pedal. Try not to overspeed it. And slowly bring the nose down and start to inch the collective back in. Do a little J-turn and we'll fly back over to the helipad.
16, continue traffic to depart.
Okay, continue with jet 49.
Rouge 1876, wind 310, 12 gust 18, clear for takeoff runway 2 for right.
Clear takeoff, runway 2 for right, Rouge 1876.
Little square patch right there is our helipad.
Good evening, WestJet 1101 with you, just a mile back from NOAA.
Russia 1101, number 124 right, continue traffic will cross the runway 2/3 of the way down momentarily with 310 to 15.
WestJet 1101.
Not quite in the center, but I'll take it. That's 3 for 3 decent landings of the helicopter. Just replay that, and then we'll head over to Saba. Easy to land at St. Bart's in a helicopter. So if you watch carefully, right when we get above the helipad, the helicopter, I didn't touch the collective at all. It catches like a gust or something. So I'm wondering if that's part of what the experimental flight model does. Maybe. I don't know if that was it entering ground effect abruptly because the elevation changed. I'm not sure. It also seems like maybe the helicopter stays coordinated a little bit better with the experimental flight model on. Not quite as much anti-torque inputs in turns. She'll shoot up here. Right there. I'll take it. One more. What are we doing on fuel?
13, contact departure 1288.
We got a quarter of a tank. I'll do it there.
7313, sir.
Turn to 796, we know delay, cross runway 24 right, right on Delta.
Cross 24 right at Delta Air Canada 796.
I'm gonna fly out. We'll turn around real quick over the little bay here, and then I'll fly back out over the runway. I just want to see if the thing is actually staying coordinated during turns, or if it's just a placebo. So again, the turn coordinator is on the G1000. It's the bottom triangle.
76, on departure on 1288.
There's two. It's a slip skid indicator, so it works exactly the same way as your turn coordinator would on an airplane. See, the bottom is moving out to the left there a little bit, so step on the anti-torque pedal. You do a hard turn and see if that stays coordinated. It does, mostly. I mean, a little bit of anti-torque pedal, but much less than it was without the experimental flight model turned on. So maybe that's what it does. And the island out there in the distance is Saba. That's where we're headed.
Just 614.
Buzz these folks on the hill.
Keep the speed as best you can on the rollout. Extra rival's pretty fast behind you. Wind 310 at 11, gust 16, clear to land runway 23.
See ya.
Circle line 23, we'll keep the speed up, taxiing to S4.
I may have to watch a little replay of that. Pause. Neat.
701, right to Delta 4, Delta, ground 120. 18, clip takeoff runway 25.
Quick takeoff to 4, Nickel 735.
Let's see how fast this thing can go. Get up to about 80% torque.
Tower, hello, WestJet 672 with you, just crossing over on talk for the visual district.
WestJet 672, Tower 1300 descent, gust 15, number 2, following dash 8, half mile final, clear to land runway 23.
I checked the traffic, clear to land 23, WestJet 672.
Air Canada 476, contact departure 12 at 8 now, CS. 4762.
So nearly sea level. We're roughly level right now. A little bit of a climb. And torque near 80%. It's about 105 knots.
Canada 129.
Not too bad for a helicopter, I guess.
Perfect.
And the caution range starts at 110.
We are ready to go. Air Canada 129.
Air Canada 129, the winds are 290 at 7, clear takeoff from 123.
Please take us on the 23, Air Canada 129.
WestJet 254 behind Air Canada, line up runway 23. Keep him in sight for the visual scan. Air Canada, line up runway 20.
Also, I think you can click this thing. There you go. You get an extender for the left side. Solo from right seat only. Is there even a collective over here? Don't see one.
Tower, good evening, Maple 7689, clear ILS 24 right.
WestJet 254, maintain visual separation, clear takeoff from 123. Maintain visual separation, clear takeoff from 123, WestJet 254.
Let's have a look at what the actual shutdown procedure is too. Collective, cyclic pedals, neutral, down, throttle closed, friction lock on, external lights off, engine cool down, 2 minutes idle. Fuel cutoff from the front panel after 2 minutes, and sprag clutch check. What did the sprag clutch check? I thought you had to roll off the throttle really quickly, even though it says.
Air Canada 622, line up and wait from 123.
Don't know. Also, I would expect to do a sprag clutch check on takeoff, not shutdown, but I'm not a helicopter pilot. And rotor brake. And as far as I understand, the sprag clutch is a device that if you, for example, if you lost engine power, you'd simulate that by rolling the throttle off really quickly. The sprag clutch would engage and allow the rotors to continue spinning freely, to freewheel, which is how auto rotation works. If the sprag clutch didn't work, then you wouldn't be able to auto rotate. Maybe a helicopter pilot could chime in and tell me if that's about correct. Which is why I don't really understand doing the sprag clutch check on shutdown versus takeoff. Or during your run-up or pre-flight or whatever.
Air Canada 129, contact departure 12 at 8 now, see ya.
188, we'll see Air Canada 129.
Basically what it would do, you'd have a drop, I think an N2, and the rotor RPM would slowly decay, as opposed to these two needles. You'd expect to see a split. The N2 would drop quickly, and the rotor would stay kind of in the green for a few seconds.
Air Canada 622. Air Canada 787 Heavy, good evening, line up runway 23.
Good evening, line up runway 23, Air Canada 787.
WestJet 254, contact departure 128.8, bye.
188, 254, bye.
Also, if you were unaware, Saba is the shortest commercially used runway in the world. So probably not going to matter much for us today in a helicopter. They fly like DHC-6 Twin Otters and stuff out there, which are made for short field takeoffs and landings and stuff, but it seems like I would imagine helicopters to be more popular out here than airplanes, considering some of the runways that are available. Saba is really hard. St. Bart's is really difficult. Why not just use helicopters? Really disoriented flying helicopters from an external view. We've done been all over today. Started on that island in the far distance over there. 2 airports and the one closest to us there. Then over to St. Bart's, and now 4th and final destination.
Air Canada 622, contact departure 12818.
Should be able to see the runway now.
288, Air Canada 622.
It is right there. Whoa, boy.
Maple 7689, Charlie 2 and ground 21.9. Charlie 229, good day, Maple 7689.
Oh man, I forgot to turn the lights on again. Hang on a second. Let's do this. Flight configuration. Maybe a little, that'll work. And come down here and can we turn it on from the pause menu?
Air Canada 381, line up and wait on runway 23, just a short delay, routine runway inspection finishing up.
Knew I was going to forget to do
Line
that.
up and wait 23, Air Canada 381.
I believe there's also a light. Can we turn this on?
Canada 030, right on Mike 5, ground 127.15.
Doesn't appear to do too much.
Canada 030.
Well, with the night lights, you can easily see the runway. It looks incredibly short from this distance. We're approaching it perpendicular right now. That is nuts.
Jet 1228, contact departure on 1288 in the air, clear takeoff runway 23. 28 in the air, clear takeoff 23, what's your 1220?
Get our nav lights on now.
Jet 1228, contact departure on 1288 in the air, clear takeoff runway 23. 28 in the air, clear takeoff 23, what's your 1220?
We'll enter the pattern on the left base, and then I'll try to slow it down quick. We'll do a little J-turn, and I think the helipad is on the left side.
FedEx 233 Heavy, line up runway 23.
Lots of weight, runway 23, FedEx 233 Heavy.
FedEx 233 Heavy, line up runway 23.
Lots of weight, runway 23, FedEx 233 Heavy.
Start low, Canada 523 is a mile from NOAA.
Air Canada 523, turn number 2, there's 319 touching down, cleared to land, runway 248.
Clear line to the right, Canada 523.
This would be some disoriented flying in real life. When there's a lot of points of lights below you, it's not really a big deal because you still have that
Low, Canada 523 is a mile from NOAA.
horizontal reference, I guess. But like this, if you're over the water, there's no moonlight really reflecting on it. All you can see is like a spot of lights in front of you. That would be a little weird. Man, it got dark fast. Turn our lights on.
Six 233 Heavy, contact departure 1288 in the air, clear takeoff runway 23.
1288 airborne, clear for takeoff runway 23, FedEx 233 Heavy.
Six 233 Heavy, contact departure 1288 in the air, clear takeoff runway 23.
1288 airborne, clear for takeoff runway 23, FedEx 233 Heavy.
For some reason, the collective is not doing anything. What happened here? Maybe it is. I'm not seeing any. Oh, there we go.
Next right, Charlie 4, and then continue right into Delta 4, ground 219.
Charlie 4, Delta 4, ground point 9 unit,
No, it's not doing anything. That's completely dropped the collective there. The engine torque is staying at about 70.
United 476, next right, Charlie 4, and then continue right into Delta 4, ground 219.
Charlie 4, Delta 4, ground point 9 unit, 476.
You get the sunlight back out here. It is not, yeah, I'm not. Collective is not moving at all for some reason.
Target Air Canada 705, no inbound.
705, number 2,
With a friction lock?
behind Edinburgh, you're about 40 knots faster, winds 1006,
Oh, yeah.
248.
Oh, God.
Airline 248, Center, respond, Air Canada 7.
Well, we're dead. Not sure how the... See ya! Not sure how the friction lock got turned on. Watch a replay of that. Death. Wouldn't have felt anything. Well, on that note, generally good helicopter. Not sure how the friction lock got turned on. Not going to attempt that again, boys. We'll see you next time. Not even a failure Friday and it crashed. Guys, take it easy. See you next time. Probably back tomorrow, depending on whether or not I fly. Grounded today for wind. Maybe back tomorrow. If I am, we'll do failure Friday. Otherwise, see you this weekend. Have a good one. We love you. We'll see you next time. Peace.